time for us to talk relationships, and today we're going to be talking about how to own your relationship with your in-laws. Owning your relationship with your in-laws. In-laws is always a difficult subject to handle. And our counsellor today is Mrs Marie-Rose Sackey, and she's going to help us to understand what it takes to own that space. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Fantastic. It's good
Yourself?
to have you here. I'm well, thank you.
I'm also very pleased to be here today.
Super. So for those who are watching and you just joined us, the hashtag is Breakfast Daily, and the number to WhatsApp us on is 0550585832. If you happen to be outside Ghana, please use the country code +233. All right. So help us to understand this all-challenging subject of in-laws, and how does one own their relationship, however it may be. You decide how it goes. How do you do that?
Thank you so much. I'm really honored to talk about this subject. And before I go on to say anything, I'll take the opportunity to just say a shout out to my in-laws.
Okay.
They are such wonderful in-laws. So from my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, my sisters-in-law, my brothers-in-law, they are just super, 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 super. And I thank God that I fell in that family, honestly. So for me to talk about this, I think it's a great opportunity because of the experience I've had. Yes. I know that people have difficulty when it comes to in-laws, and some in-laws can really be a terror. But like you said, it's a relationship. Relationship is between people, one person and another. And there's something the Bible says that in the book of Amos, it says, can two walk together except they agree? So for anybody to relate to another person is basically an agreement. It might be a spoken agreement or unspoken agreement. You know how we say that you gel with somebody. Yeah. You go somewhere and you see the person and you just click. And you can just go on talking. Yes. It's some kind of agreement
that's going on.
That is going on. Okay. Yes. So to own your relationship with your in-laws, even before you get into marriage, I think basically the first thing I'll talk about is that you have to be yourself. Okay. No pretense. Just be yourself. Let them know you as who you are so that you don't change over time. Okay. Of course, every human being changes, but if you give yourself that your natural self will be there. Yeah. No matter how you change, the real you will still be there. So just be yourself. When you have opportunities to meet them, I think that you have to be very nice. It's just being courteous. Afford or accord them the respect due them, like you would treat your parents. Many times because people have this mentality that in-laws can be very brutal, can be very nasty, and some of them can be unloving. So we end up going already prejudiced. And whenever you're doing something that you're prejudiced, it kind of influences. Okay.
So I want us to, we'll delve into that issue, the challenge of in-laws and the challenge of having difficult in-laws. And so those of you who are watching us, especially by Facebook, the social media handle again is hashtag Breakfast Daily. Send your questions, we'll read them out on air and ask our counsellor whilst she's on the set. So yes, please go ahead and...
Yes, so like I was saying, so it's basically about how you relate to your in-laws so that you have some kind of amicable relationship. You don't necessarily have to be their favorite, but you shouldn't also be their enemy. Okay. There must be peace. Because if it's a family you're going to go into or you're going to join or enter, you have to have your peace of mind. If you want to play well or do well in life, you need peace of mind. Without peace of mind, you can't really focus. You know, there's always challenges here and there. So now you are going into a new terrain. Your partner or your friend, whoever, introduces you to maybe a sister first or a brother first. Usually it doesn't go to the parents first. You go to the siblings first. So amongst the siblings, you have to look at the person that you really click with.
Yes.
And then hook yourself there.
Okay.
And build a friendship. Not necessarily like a close friendship or something, but build some kind of cordiality between the two of you. Yes. Yeah. And look for the ones who kind of flow with you and work it from there. Okay. Just like I said, try to be nice. Be yourself. Number 2, you have to learn to respect.
Okay.
Yes. I was talking about the prejudice thing. If you are prejudiced already, that's how they are.
Okay.
So you are already influenced. So your attitude might be, hey, I'm so careful. Hey, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to do.
What would typically cause these prejudices?
Of course.
Because you don't know them.
You don't know them, one.
So then.
And the stories we've heard around, we've seen so many. From the background, our world is usually about our perception in life. Whatever we do is kind of dictated by our perception in life. Your worldview. Yeah. Everybody's worldview is different because of where we're coming from, our backgrounds. Yeah. So because of your worldview, where you lived, it might not be necessarily the fact that maybe your mother faced such a situation, but it might be that the environment in which you grew up, you have heard so many, or you have seen so many, which influences you. Yeah. And that's how our environment influences us. So the environment kind of have this influence on us that we don't really decide to take on, but it does. Okay. So you go in there and you have all this mind, so you start, and then your in-laws will think, oh, yeah. She's bluffing, or she's a bluff, or whatever. And that's where they'll start picking, because when they get to know that, this person is so close to our brother or our sister, they start already, they also are like wide-eyed open, trying to see, is she fit for him, is he fit for her, and all that. So everybody is kind of on edge. That's the reason why you have to play with respect. Yeah. Be courteous. Respect, love them as much as you can. Don't overdo things. Don't try to impress. Yes. And it all boils down to being yourself. I remember, let me give this example. I remember the first time I had to go and meet my in-laws. And my husband, how will I call him? Is a boyfriend.
Your boyfriend at the time.
My fiancé at the time took me. And we went. He had taken my picture for them to see already. And they were crazy about my picture. So I hear. So when I went, I'll never forget. When I went, my mother-in-law makes some great pancakes. Okay. And so she served me these pancakes. And I was like, whoa. I ate it and I loved it. So I was like, yeah, the pancake is so good. Do you have some more?
Thank you.
Yes. And she said yes. So she brought me more and I ate. And I really enjoyed it. I had a good time. When I came back home, I was reporting it to my mother, what happened. And I told my mother, oh, the pancake was so good. I asked her. She said, oh, I say, Papa. Yeah. But that is how it started. I was just myself. Yeah. I didn't try to, you don't have to ask, you don't have to do this. Yeah. Yeah. The do's and don'ts, we have to limit them. Okay. You have to, when you go into such a terrain, I believe that you have to look at the situation on the ground before you act. Don't act based on what you've heard. Okay. Don't act based on what you've seen. Judge it for yourself. Yes. Yes. Judge it for yourself. Yeah. Yeah. So when you go and you see the situation on the ground, then you know how you're going to play it. Yes. You're going to play it. Because definitely these are people that have their own pattern or their own style as a family. Yeah. You can't take your family values to go and impose on them. Yeah. Yeah. So you have to understand that where you're going, their style is different. So either you have to fit in or you have to try and play along. So you have to be very observant. You have to open your eyes and see how things goes, how they do their things. There's some families, they will sit on the floor and eat with their hands. Yeah. Other people, too, they will have to sit at a table, well-laid, fork and knife. Yeah. We don't use spoon to eat rice.
With serviettes.
With serviettes and all that. Yes. And then you see somebody who has not, I had a friend who had that problem. He said that when the husband gets food, then the way sometimes he will sit on the floor and be eating, then she gets disgusted.
Yes.
Because she comes from a background where they sit at table and eat and pass and do all the necessary courtesies, So when you go into a place like that, when you go to a place like that, you have to be observant. Ask yourself, can I go with this? What can I do to fit in? What can I do to adjust? Don't go with the mind of, I'm going to change things.
Okay.
I'm going to make things better. I'm going to let him be like me. Let him be himself.
Yes.
Let her be herself. And be yourself.
Yeah.
And if it's going to work, it will work. But if you allow things not to, influence you so much like that, you realize that the relationship, you might not become buddies, but you will flow.
Okay.
You don't necessarily have to be buddies with your in-laws.
Okay.
You don't necessarily have to. But if you can't get to that level, praise the Lord.
Okay.
That is very good.
Okay.
If you get that, it's
an ideal situation.
It's the ideal situation.
Okay.
But you don't go out with the mind that I'm going to make my in-laws my buddies.
Okay.
Every single one of them. Maybe your friend or your spouse or boyfriend, girlfriend comes from a big family. It is impossible to get all of them liking you.
Okay.
It's just impossible.
All right. So we have to be yourself, number one. Show respect.
That's right.
Okay. What else do we have?
I talked about the fact that you have to value what they are, who they are, and where they've come
value
from.
Them.
Yes. And also remember that you can't change them.
Yeah.
You can't change them.
Okay.
Yes. Don't go with that mindset that I'm going to change them. You go with a mindset that I am coming to join and we work. Let me play a scenario. When you were looking for jobs, usually we are so desperate. We are looking for jobs. You apply for anything. And when they call you and you are employed, you play according to the rules of the organization.
Yeah.
You try to fit in.
Yeah.
If you don't fit in, they'll kick you out. Or you'll be frustrated.
Yes.
I remember a friend telling me about her niece. She had to do internship. And when she went, she thinks that she was doing her best. She was working so hard. But her boss, sometimes she gets there, she greets, and this person will not mind her. And she gets so shaken.
Yeah.
And after a point, after some time, she was like, oh, I'm going to leave. And the uncle had to sit her down and tell her, that is life. You're going to leave. You think that when you go to the other place,
it will be any
different. Yes.
Yeah.
When you go there, it wouldn't be any different. You have to make sure that you are just doing the right things and you are on the right course.
Okay.
And maybe you don't know why the person doesn't. Maybe her mind is even somewhere.
Yes.
Or she has her own problems that is occupying her. So you don't go and take their problems to be. Don't own their problems. Go and do what you're supposed to.
Yeah.
Yes. Don't go and own their problems. Sometimes we take on their problems and we are trying to be problem solvers and all that. It is not your business.
Yeah.
You are not there to solve problems. You are there to enjoy a relationship.
Yeah.
And that relationship, in the end, should give us some kind of results of joy, peace, happiness, all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you're not going to.
I find it very interesting. So when the analogy you used, I was going to ask you a question actually. The analogy you used about the employment then suggests that the onus is actually on the one going in.
Exactly.
Don't put the burden on your in-laws.
That's right.
You put the burden is on you, the one going in.
That's right.
Okay, to be responsible for how it turns out and everything will become.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And that brings another example to mind. I remember there was this sister-in-law that I'd never met because she was not living in the country.
Okay.
But she had been very good to me. When I married, I'd spoken to her on the phone. She had been sending me cards and stuff, good stuff. When I had my babies, she was sending me things. I mean, she ships things and all that. And I had to travel. So I didn't go to where she was first. I went to another country. I was with a friend. And I said, from there, I'll go to where she was.
Yeah.
And my friend, who was a foreigner, she is not even a Ghanaian. She was an American.
Okay.
And she said, Mary, where did you say you're going from here? And I said, I'm going to visit my sister in London. And she was like, my sister-in-law in London. She was like, my sister-in-law, I've never met face to face. But this is my first time going there. She was like, whoa, this sounds scary. You have to be careful. That's what I'm telling you. The perception. Things that can feed your mind, and then you go and you, like, that sounds so scary.
Yeah.
You never met her and you're going to her? And I was like, yeah. Why? sounds scary. You have to be careful. These in-laws can really be, trouble sometimes, and that's what she said. Well, but it's never been. Yeah, she was the sweetest person I've ever met. She is the sweetest. She's my confidant.
I think she already proved it. When you hadn't met, she was already
some people can be nice, but when they meet you face to face, have you seen experience where you talk to people on the phone and you have a certain image of them?
Yes.
And suddenly you meet them like, is that you?
Is this the person I was talking to?
Yeah. It happens.
I've had that.
Yeah.
Somebody saw me and said, "Oh my goodness, you are much smaller than I thought you would be." I was like, well, anyway, thank you so much.
It happens a lot.
Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful conversation, and I trust that those of you who are watching on Facebook or on TV, DSTV, wherever you are in Ghana and outside Ghana, you've enjoyed this segment of the show. We've been speaking to Mrs Marie-Rose Sackey, and she's been helping us to understand how to own the relationship with our in-laws. First of all, you need to be yourself, be authentic, okay, and then also learn to respect, and then value them, value who they are and where they come from, and then don't have the mind that you're going to change anyone.
Hi there, I hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share with all of your friends. This is Breakfast Daily on Citi TV.
Join the Breakfast Daily team Monday through Fridays from 7:30 a.m. to 10. Join us for breakfast daily, only on Citi TV.